Blog Talk Radio.
What time is it? WHRADIO.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We made it. WH200. It is Skits, and I am live with my co-hosts. We got Tom and we got Oscar. What is going on, gentlemen?
I actually believe it's going to be a great-ass show.
You know, we talked on Monday nights, Maggle.
Hey, Tom, it's funny. We got Oscar over here saying Bo Dallas quotes and he hates him. It must be a good day for him, huh?
Yes, he's starting to believe.
I'm starting to believe that he's an idiot going against midgets.
Oh shit! Oh man, 200, dude. Man, we came a long way since 2011. Like, wow. I mean, yeah. We've had guys that used to be on the show that are no longer on the show. Shout out to them. Shout out to guys like Don, Ryan, guys like True God used to be on here. And then, guys like Toby, Bruce, Chris, Oscar, Tom, myself. We even have Salone on here. Like, WHRADIO crew, we've been doing this shit for like a while.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. And I've been part of this like a year plus already, and I could say it's been great to me, and I feel like we're doing better. We're doing new things now, like YouTube, and we're back on iTunes. So I see the future for WHRADIO, bright, really, really bright. So, and anybody that's listening, we want to thank you just for listening and having us survive 200 episodes. And we want to do another 200 more, or, more than that. So, just tell your buddies, tell everybody, just check us out. And we've been doing this for 200 episodes. And subscribe us on YouTube and iTunes. So, the more you do that, the more stronger we'll get. And I feel like we're getting stronger and stronger every day.
Yeah, you know what's funny? A lot of people don't know. Tom used to just be like a regular caller, and then, one day was like, he's kind of basically a part of the show. He calls like every show. Let's just put him on the team, and he's on the team, and we definitely enjoy him as a co-host.
Yeah, well, that's pretty cool. Now go ahead, Tom.
I was gonna say I enjoy being here, and it's because I found you guys on Twitter because I finally decided to join Twitter. I mean, why not?
Yeah, and as for me, also the same way. I just like to call in when Skits is not on the show and just make fun of him. So I remember those days.
Yeah, for those that me and Oscar are actually good friends.
It's not with Skits. It's impossible.
Oh shit. But hey, fucking Raw today, huh? Interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting Raw. It was okay. Nothing really exciting happened.
Yeah, I mean, go for it.
I was gonna say, to me, it seemed like the main event had like a pay-per-view type of feel to me. I mean, like,
well, two matches I believe was pretty good. The main event and Randy Orton and Dean Ambrose were pretty good. And I would like to say this Raw episode was not better than last week, but it still give us more questions than answers. Like, example, well, this one is more like we kind of know it's going to happen. We know Paige is going to, like, backstab AJ. We just need to know when, There's a lot of those happening today on Raw, if you get me.
We even had the Funkadactyls breakup today. Man, I've been waiting for those two girls to go at it.
That that thing was more like it's almost a Jerry Springer type thing. I mean, if you hear the chant Jerry, they're not chanting for Jerry Lawler. Chanting for Jerry Springer. You know, and I actually thought Naomi was going to pull some weave out there.
Hey, I was hoping. Hey, I was hoping, and I can't stand Cameron. Like, what the fuck? When have you guys ever seen a female pull out some lip gloss in the middle of a fucking match? No matter if it's indies or fucking mainstream wrestling. Like, I've never seen a chick pull out lip gloss. I'm like, what the fuck? It's just sad.
I don't know, but I'm going to tell you this. I feel bad for Naomi. Look, she did pretty good in that match, that tag match, right? But if they're going to put her in a match against Cameron in a pay-per-view, just imagine that. Are you guys looking for a good match? No. You know, so I just feel bad for Naomi. She's going to have to deal with Cameron. Probably not just one match, probably maybe 2 or 3 matches. So, I don't know. If you guys believe, or anybody's listening, that Cameron's going to have, or Cameron Naomi's going to have a good match, you can call us up at 760-454-1107 or tweet us at WrestlingHeads, because I don't know if that's going to work. Even though Naomi has a lot of talent, you know, I don't know if we're going to see a very interesting match.
Yeah. But how about that opening, though? Roman Reigns getting over with the crowd like that.
Yeah, I mean, WWE really wants this guy to be the next top babyface. You know, I mean, Chris is out there in Florida, near to the Performance Center, and he said he was hearing that Roman Reigns is always out there doing his mic work skills. So whatever he's doing, it looks like it's working in a way. But you know, this last weekend or the past few days, there's all these rumors going around. Even it might have started from Wednesday's show that Roman Reigns might be the headliner to WrestleMania or go and walk out with the title. Do you feel? I'm asking both of you this. Do you feel by WrestleMania he'll be ready? To take that spot, or you guys still think that spot should belong to someone else?
Go ahead, Tom.
I don't know. I think maybe by WrestleMania he'll be getting right at that point where he's going to be in the title picture, either contending for it or even winning the title. So I don't know. I think he's doing good. You know, we don't get to see a lot of Roman Reigns one-on-one matches that get, some time. Because when we see Roman Reigns, it's either in tag matches or whatever, and we see, the kind of, the power moves that he does. He does, excuse me, he does the Superman punch, he does the little kick down the apron, he does a spear, obviously, and we don't get to see a lot of his other moves that I think he could do if he was given the chance. So, I think now that he's breaking out as a single star, we're finally gonna see what he can do, and who knows, maybe they're pushing him too fast, and then maybe it's gonna end up bad. Just gotta kind of wait and see.
All I gotta say, I feel very bad for Finley. Man, Finley got the spear tonight, and it's crazy. We got to see Joey Mercury come down, Jamie Noble, Finley. Was Dean Malenko down there too?
Yeah, Dean Malenko and IRS.
IRS was there.
Oh wow, I did not see IRS. That's crazy. But damn, me on if Roman Reigns is ready for WrestleMania. I think I answered this the other day. I don't know if it's that time yet. I don't know if is a Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns match really going to sell? Like, is that going to sell? As a main event? Are people going to want to really want to see that? That's the question. Is Roman Reigns going to be over, like super over, by WrestleMania 31? I don't know. Question is, Oscar, where going? Would you want to see that match as your main event?
to be honest with you, no. I like I said on Wednesday, I'd rather see a Daniel Bryan versus John Cena main event WrestleMania, just to like, you know, it's just a good story to put into it. You know, it's freaking, you know, the crowd hates Cena and everybody loves Daniel Bryan with the yes chant. You know, I'm not saying turn Cena heel, but if you can have him as your champion going in WrestleMania against the guy who wins the Rumble, like example Daniel Bryan, and once Daniel.
The thing with that is I don't think anybody wants to see Cena hold the title for that long. I don't want to see Cena hold the title all the way up to WrestleMania. Are you kidding me?
I mean,
like if Cena legit holds the title up to WrestleMania, I'd probably stop watching for a little bit, just because that would be disgraceful.
Okay,
John Cena. Most likely, what's going to happen is John Cena is going to lose to Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, because Bryan's not returning by SummerSlam, you know, because his neck injury, you know, isn't healing as fast as it should be. So he's probably going to have to stay on the sidelines a little bit longer, which, you know, it's good for his health. But Brock Lesnar is going to beat John Cena at SummerSlam, and I'm counting on it.
Okay.
And I'm speculating either at WrestleMania 30, we're going to see Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, or we're going to see Brock Lesnar versus Cesaro.
Okay. My question to you is this. Like, let's go back to Cena. If Cena was the champion, if Daniel Bryan did beat him, would that feel good to you? Like, yes, he finally feels like this win was a bigger win than the triple threat match?
No, I don't. Because Bryan's beaten Cena before. He beat him last year or something.
Yeah,
the WrestleMania thing, when you look at WrestleMania 30 as a whole, WrestleMania 30 started out with Bryan beating Triple H. That in itself is already a WrestleMania moment. Then he went on to beat Batista and Randy Orton, two, you know, former multi-time world champions. That is more of an accomplishment than just beating Cena, even though Cena, you know, is, you know, Superman and probably take on, you know, 20 guys and still win.
Okay, but let me ask you a question, though. Like I said, if Daniel Bryan beats Cena, will that feel like he passed the torch and, like, Cena?
No.
Because, you know, Cena's not going to wrestle 10 years from now. All right? You got to get that clear.
I hope not.
I doubt it. I don't think he's going to wrestle 10 years from now. At 2014, it's not going to.
It's Cena. He'll just, you know, do the same thing, never give up. You can't see me. 5 moves of doom. Cena wins.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to tell you this real quick. What you guys are forgetting. You guys are forgetting Mr. Money in the Bank. Question is, what is he going to do? Is he going to cash it in before WrestleMania 31, or is he going to cash it in after? Because Seth Rollins still plays a big part of this story, regardless. You know, I know a lot of people have a hard on for Daniel Bryan. You know, I love Daniel Bryan myself. I would love to see Daniel as champ, but hey, we got Seth Rollins. He's kind of stepping his game up.
Yeah. I mean, I think I mentioned on Wednesday's show. I mean, it all depends what they want to do in the fall. Like, example, if they're going to give Brock Lesnar the title, if he's going to be the champ at that time, I mean, is he going to drop it to Seth Rollins? I don't know if they'll do that or not. It just depends what happens in the fall time. I'm pretty sure they have no idea when they're going to plan Seth Rollins, you know, to cash in his Money in the Bank. So,
he could be champ. It depends. He could be the Money in the Bank. He could be. I was saying that he could be Mr. Money in the Bank for a while, and
it could be a while.
So
I would rather him keep it for a while, because you look at last year, and Randy Orton, you know, cashed it in at SummerSlam, and then, you know, Sandow held on it for a little longer, but we all saw how that ended up with him losing to Cena.
Yeah,
so I want to see Seth Rollins. Maybe Seth Rollins holds on to it, you know, until the Rumble, or maybe he does it at the Elimination Chamber. Maybe he's not in the Elimination Chamber match, and then whoever's champion at the time, say Brock Lesnar's champion, and he wins the Elimination Chamber, that would give an opening for Seth Rollins.
Well,
that's an idea.
Well, the good thing about this, I'm not planning on doing a SummerSlam because I'm starting to feel like it's obvious SummerSlam is the pay-per-view for the Money in the Bank cash-in. It feels like the last 2 out of 4 years, it's been that pay-per-view event that it has been the pay-per-view that someone cash in. Like the Del Rio, the Randy Orton. That's I'm starting to get going against that now. And I went to Money in the Bank. No, Del Rio beat CM Punk.
Yeah, see, I knew Punk was involved in one of those.
Yeah, because remember Kevin Nash came to the crowd and he powerbombed Punk. Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll definitely have to see what the WWE have planned for the Money in the Bank, and also have planned what they want to do with Roman Reigns. But quick, let's take a real quick.
I was going to say really quick, before we get off of the whole Seth Rollins talk. Maybe this might be just me, this might be other fans, but it is awesome to see Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. They're main eventers. They're main eventers right now. He was in the main event of Raw. They're in the closing segment of Raw, and they've constantly been like that for months. It's so awesome to see them like that because, I was a big fan of Seth Rollins before he came into the WWE when he was in Ring of Honor as Tyler Black.
It's funny
and I was a little skeptical. When he came into the WWE because, he didn't have the strongest mic skills. He was kind of flat on the mic, kind of a monotone voice. And, you saw a little bit of progression when he became Ring of Honor champion, but you still didn't know, and you thought, it's just an indie guy WWE is not going to use right. And look at him now. He's got the Money in the Bank contract, and it's the only Money in the Bank contract. There's not 2 titles. There's only 1 title now. So,
it's funny that you say that, Tom, because I was sitting there watching that main event. Like, when I just said earlier, like, tonight was like a main event pay-per-view type of match, like, I was like, dude, this is Tyler Black from Ring of Honor on a WWE, Raw main eventing.
And it's
John Cena.
More that the WWE is gonna have its muscle guys like Cena, like Roman Reigns, etc. But they're giving more faith to smaller looking guys. It's not the mentality anymore that you need to be, this bodybuilder type to be a champion in the WWE. More importantly, the world champion in WWE. They're having more faith in guys that are good, pure wrestlers. And that's the thing that irks me the most about, there's all these new signings, Kevin Steen, Prince Devitt, Kenta, all those guys coming into the WWE, and everybody is just doubting. Everyone's saying, they're gonna be squashed, they're gonna have a stupid gimmick or whatever. And I say, look at Daniel Bryan, look at Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Cesaro, even look at Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn's not even on the main roster, and you can already tell that he's going to be big.
He's already killing it in NXT. He's main eventing NXT, for God's sake, the development.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think the only reason that he's still in NXT is because they haven't really had a lot of stars kind of develop in NXT yet, so they're kind of just keeping him down there because they know he's, a proven star, and they need him to kind of just stay down there just until they build up more guys,
I'm actually going to say something about Zayn a little bit and a little later. I'm going to wait until we get to that subject. But yeah, man. Just like our boy Toby said, sooner or later, WrestleMania is going to look like a PWG event. But we're back after these messages, and we'll be back talking more Raw here on WH200.
Yo, this is the New Age Punisher B-Boy. If I were you, I would listen to that 200th episode of Wrestling Heads, or I would go to your house and kill you.
Four Corners Radio is the home for the best professional wrestling and independent wrestling, discussions and coverage. Billy, Ant, Martin, and Sam bring you three of the best podcasts every week. The Four Corners Raw Roundtable, the Indie Project, and the Saturday Freestyle. Along with the podcast, FourCornersWrestling.com is designed with all wrestling fans in mind. Feature articles, videos, the weekly shows, and much more. Four Corners and Wrestling Heads are teaming up to bring you wrestling's next revolution. Are you ready? Welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here at WH200. You got Skits, Oscar, and Tom.
Yeah. Shout out to B-Boy, by the way, for making that for us for our 200th episode.
Yeah, shout out to B-Boy. B-Boy's been a big, huge support here on WH Radio. He's been a good friend of ours. We've been seeing him a lot of SoCal shows. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
Hope we get him on the show soon.
Yep.
Well, yeah, tonight, the Whites against the Usos again. A lot of people was complaining on Twitter. And me, myself, I actually tweeted, if the Whites lose this match, it is no point of having this match. I didn't understand the point. So it's good that they let the Whites win, because if they lost, it would have been like, okay, and what was this for? You know what I mean? So the Whites won, and it looked like they're going to get another rematch. And I think it's about that time the WWE just puts the straps on the Wyatts. And people need to get over this Ascension bullshit. I know people are starting to have hard-ons about the Ascension, but if they were smart,
I think the Ascension are going to eventually. I think they're going to be on the main roster before the end of the year. I think that's probably a given. But I think people were too quick to think how soon they were going to be called up, because they haven't even lost the NXT tag titles yet. I believe when NXT does its next live show, whatever it is, I believe that's when the Ascension's going to lose their tag titles. I don't know to who. You look at the teams that they're building up. Enzo Amore, Colin Cassidy, the Vaudevillains. It could be anybody. But I think when they lose those titles, they're just going to go up to the main roster.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're going to be in the main roster sometime in the point of the year. It could be between next week to the end of the year. They're going to be in their hell. They can make their debut in SummerSlam. But I kind of see what you're saying. They'll probably strap their next live show, which I believe is going to be either the end of summer or beginning of fall, which we're like possibly a month and a half away to 2 months for the next NXT live shows. And they already recorded shows already from this month. So August, I mean, if you want to read spoilers, look out maybe in a week or two. We might find out more information about the live show perhaps in a week or two.
I think they were going to do a live show every quarter, because, they did one before WrestleMania, and then they did one after WrestleMania. So I think they're going to do another one, maybe late August, early September, and then they're going to have I think they're going to have a final one toward the end of the year.
Yeah, and going back to the Ascension, you're right. They have not yet lost the tag belts, and no one seems like there's no one's even close to taking them. It's at that division week, but they're bringing new tag teams. Like I said, they're building up
some face tag teams. Like I said, Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy, and even the Vaudevillains. The Vaudevillains are being put as a legitimate tag team threat. It's not like they're, getting their asses kicked and then winning on a fluke. Yeah. They're dominating their matches. Yeah, and if I ever have to pick a team from the NXT to beat the Ascension, it might end up being Enzo Amore and Big Cass. I think that could be the tag team they'll beat them, because that crowd really loves them. And when Enzo came back 2 weeks ago, the crowd went crazy. So that could be that tag team
put the Ascension down.
And you even look. I was thinking about this tonight. I said, when they're building up a tag team, look at what they're doing with the Wyatt family. Instead of having the Wyatts beat up and destroy like random tag teams on Raw, they're just beating the Usos, and they're just having tag matches with the Usos. And I'm thinking, well, what is that doing? They already beat them. If they already beat them twice in a row, they beat them last week and they beat them tonight. So with that logic, why couldn't they beat them at a pay-per-view? That kind of doesn't give you an illusion that the Usos are a threat. That's making the Usos look like weak champions. And it's, it's kind of the state of the tag division right now is that they don't even have that many tag teams to kind of feed to the Wyatts. They have Stardust and Goldust. They have Rybaxel, the Wyatts, and the Usos. And that's it. 4 tag teams shouldn't be the whole tag team division. There should be a random, jobber tag team.
I know
the
one tag team that they jobbed the Wyatts last week was R-Truth and Woods. That was the main event. They went against them and destroyed them. I don't know if they were in action on SmackDown because 4th of July I was too fucked up.
Yeah. But anyways,
all I got to say, put them straps on the Wyatts, damn it, or else you're definitely gonna have skits coming up there in Connecticut, causing a fucking war.
Well, we just gotta hope and see if it does happen. So, I would like to see him win it, but who knows? Who knows? Who knows what WWE got planned? So.
Yeah, man. Also tonight on Raw, Rusev. That's my fucking dude. I don't give a fuck. I can watch Rusev every fucking match because he's got a lot on the sideline. And I'm just looking at her. So when Rusev finally gets a legit opponent, he faces RVD. It basically kind of destroys RVD. RVD got jobbed tonight. Are you guys shocked?
Yep. Not really, because RVD is actually there to put guys over. If that was someone like Roman Reigns or John Cena, hell yeah, I'll be shocked. But RVD is in a different point of his career today. He's not a guy that they're trying to build him up. They're not planning to get him the damn WWE title strap. He's just there like Chris Jericho, putting guys over. Pretty much it. So, no, I'm not really shocked that, RVD job to Rusev. And not only that, just to destroy him, That's pretty much it. And if Kane ever turns back to the babyface, you got to do the same thing, too. You got to have him job to guys like Rusev. So, no shock to me.
And
same thing. RVD is putting guys over. He's not in it. It's not like he's getting squashed. It's not like Rusev's going in there and beating him in like a minute. RVD is putting up a legitimate fight. It's just that Rusev's just overpowering him, and they're building up Rusev as this monster. So of course RVD is going to lose, and RVD's the perfect guy to do the job at this point right now, because you see what Rusev's doing. He just is probably going to face Jack Swagger at Battleground, and the competition going against Rusev is is getting higher and higher and higher. It's getting more of a legitimate. So
it's funny that you
eventually probably see Rusev and Cena will probably be the one to beat Rusev.
Yeah. Maybe. It's most likely that will happen. But I want to mention, we talk about, new guys coming out of NXT and, who's over and who's not over that came from NXT. There's a lot of folks that say, Adam Rose didn't work. Some people say Bo Dallas is work. Some people say Bo Dallas isn't working. Right now, if you look at all the guys that came out of NXT, in my book, the guys that are working and are actually getting over with the crowd, like the crowd's actually paying attention to them, I would say Rusev and Bo Dallas are probably the only two. But if you talk about who has a better streak, because we talk about streaks and talk about Tom's always talking about Bo Dallas he's got the new streak. Let's not forget about Rusev's streak, damn it.
But Rusev's not Bo Dallas.
Rusev's better.
Bo Dallas takes on all challengers. Bo Dallas tonight on Raw took on El Torito. He doesn't care who he has to face. He faces anybody because he's Bo Dallas.
Bo Dallas he has not faced one legit guy yet. When he faces one legit guy,
I think we got some breaking news here.
Hold on. We're gonna get to that. Don't get wet over it. Oh shit.
Anyway, but you look at tonight and you look at Bo Dallas and Rusev, and since the call-ups from NXT, Big E and Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family were in NXT. So, there's been a bunch of guys that were in NXT that have been successful so far, but the most recent ones, Rusev and Bo Dallas, they're completely different people.
I'm gonna call it right now.
Being built up. Yeah, they're both being built up as different types of threats. Rusev is the monster threat. He's the serious foreign heel with the sexy woman manager who yells at us and tells us how great Russia is. And then you have Bo Dallas, who's more of the comedy type. He thinks everybody likes him, but he's not really that well liked, and he thinks he's better than he is, and he thinks he inspires people, and it's a less serious thing, but he's still winning. He's not losing.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this: if you had to predict somebody to beat, since you already predicted John Cena to beat Rusev, who do you predict to beat Bo Dallas? I predict this person to beat Bo Dallas. He's going to actually make a debut, too. I would predict Sami Zayn to make a debut soon, and he's going to be the first one to actually beat Bo Dallas. That's my prediction, if it's not Daniel Bryan. So it's either Daniel Bryan or Zayn.
Yeah, I think maybe if he's put in a storyline with Cena, maybe Cena could beat Bo Dallas. I think that would be a hilarious storyline to go with, like Bo Dallas, like say John Cena. What they could do is they could have Rusev actually beat John Cena, after they finish their feud and storyline, and then Bo Dallas tells John Cena that one day John Cena can be as great as Bo Dallas, and then then they get into a feud, and Bo Dallas gets like a fluke win or something and thinks he's like the greatest thing ever or whatever. But I think, a Cena-Bo Dallas rivalry, could work, and then maybe Cena ends his streak.
For some reason, I think if Sami Zayn's not going to be that person, Daniel Bryan is going to be the person to give Bo Dallas his real lose, his first loss. And John Cena is not going to get around to Bo Dallas anytime soon. That's just my opinion. Zayn. Zayn's gonna be the man because the Zayn and Bo Dallas, they have history already. So.
Yeah, maybe. We'll have to see. We'll have to see when Sami Zayn gets called up.
So, Oscar, he got so excited about the breaking news. I'm gonna let him go ahead and spit it out.
Okay. PWG Bola. Tickets are going sale Thursday, 4 p.m. Not Eastern, Western time, Pacific time. So you East Coast guys me. Huh?
I said, just fucking make me broke already, PWG. Didn't I just pay for some tickets already? Oh.
Yeah. So,
I can't believe they're putting them on sale this early. 2 months before, more than 2 months before, no, not more than 2 months, more than a month, before Bola.
Yeah. So if you want to purchase your tickets, go for it Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific time. So hopefully I work things out to get a front row. But
that's fucking early, too.
Yeah. So
that's actually time to start work.
I'm actually planning to and that's when I actually get off work. So let's see what happens. I'm planning to go all 3 shows. So, and that's just his birthday weekend, damn it.
I'm fucking pissed that they want to have these tickets going early. Like, can the motherfucker get paid first? Shit. I mean,
what you need to do is go to the bank and take out a loan, and when they ask you what it's for, just be like, it's for Bola. And they'll be like, oh, here you go.
Now the question is, will Tom be at Bola?
I don't know.
Tom not ready.
I thought they were going to wait on tickets, tickets are going on sale Thursday. I thought I was going to have a little bit more time to, see what my financial situation's looking like.
Exactly. They don't think about people's
financial. It'll be expensive for me to go out to California, do 3 nights of Bola, 3 nights of, drinks, merchandise, hotel.
Yeah.
It'll be expensive.
Not only that, it's a freaking holiday weekend. It's Labor Day weekend, so flight price is going to be high.
I don't know.
Funny
I'll call Super Dragon and be like, listen, if you fly me out to California, give me tickets to Bola, you can psycho driver me through a table.
It's funny.
And you'll buy his new DVD.
I was going to say this, Oscar. I'm hoping majority of the people that plan on going to Bola will also plan on going to Made in America. Because it's a fucking concert called Made in America. It's basically like a festival. I hope people go to that shit so they won't have to go to Bola. So let's hope that happens. Same weekend.
All right.
All right. But real quickly, let's take one more break, and we'll go back to WH Radio Talk.
It's PPA all day, the biggest man in professional wrestling, pretty Peter Avalon. WrestlingHeads Radio, I'm hearing that it's your 200th show. Congratulations. You guys deserve it. You guys are awesome. WrestlingHeads Radio.
Yo, welcome to WH Radio. Today's show is brought to you by the good people down at WrestlingRambles.com. For the latest in wrestling news, in-depth blog, and hot topic discussion, hit up WrestlingRambles.com. Remember, it's not just any ramble, but a Wrestling Rambles. WrestlingRambles.com. And also special thanks to Ring Rust Radio and FLTDWrestling.com. Thank you for listening.
All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We are WH Radio. You listen to WH200. Question of the day. I know we were actually in the middle of talking about Raw, but I'm kind of switching it up real quick. Your time being on the Wrestling Heads team, what has been your favorite show or favorite wrestler you had to interview?
Me? Well, before I answer that, I want to give a shout to Peter Avalon for doing that for us.
Okay.
AKA North Furman in TNA, you could say. Yeah, doing that for us. He's been pretty cool. He's a cool dude, even outside his wrestling character. So, yeah, shout out to him.
Definitely.
And
I know.
Okay, well, 2 of my favorite moments I want to say in WrestlingHeads Radio was one, which I planned, was when Willie Mack called in during the TJ Perkins interview or Madnick interview, and he wishes you happy birthday. That was actually my plan for like a whole week. Do that for you, because I know Willie Mack is one of your favorite wrestlers, and he came in here and wish you happy birthday. That was one of my favorite moments.
Shout out to Willie, another good dude.
Yeah, and then when Willie called in, all you guys were like surprised, like you, Bruce, and even TJ Perkins was like, "What the fuck are you calling?" And yeah, that was a great moment. And another moment I enjoyed was the time we had Candice LeRae on when when Peter Avalon called in, because they had a match for what's it, 10? It was about a year ago.
It was 10.
Yeah, it was 10. Yeah, they're giving a 6-person tag match, and Peter Avalon called in during the time we were interviewing Candice LeRae. He went on character as Peter Avalon, talking to Candice LeRae, and it's funny that if you guys look back to that episode, what's it called? Peter Avalon he sounded like a freaking pedophile. Oh, Candice. Oh, Candice. He said like at least 10 times, oh, Candice. So, you guys got to check that episode out. That was one of my favorite episodes on WrestlingHeads Radio. So, yeah, that was it. And also, I enjoyed the Thrasher one when he called in. When he first started off talking about Owen Hart, we had him on actually in the anniversary of the death of Owen Hart, and he was at least 15 minutes talking about Owen Hart, and that was great. So those were pretty much my favorite moments. Yeah, that was one of my favorite moments. And people subscribe to us on YouTube. That could be going in anytime soon. So people look at that.
Yeah, man. What about you, Tom? All right, because I'm already knowing that you haven't had a chance to interview too many guys, but as a listener also.
I would say interviewing people. I enjoyed Kyle O'Reilly. He was a really cool guy. You know, gave great insight into his career, and you know, it's a fun guy to talk to. The Candice LeRae thing, I listened back on that when I saw you guys mentioning it on Twitter not too long ago, and I was like, what is that about? So I looked it up, and Peter Avalon is just the funniest dude. That was hilarious. I can't remember the last time I laughed that hard, especially from like a wrestling standpoint. That was just hilarious. I enjoyed the interview you guys did with Michael Elgin. You know, you got some insight from, you know, great talent like him, and you guys, you know, interviewed him when, you know, he was just starting to, you know, rise to a main event level in Ring of Honor. And, you know, he was just coming into PWG too, so, you know, you guys caught him at a perfect time when he was, you know, just at the hottest moment of his career.
Yeah, definitely. And another one I forgot to mention when we had former XPW and CCW star Messiah on. I mean, damn, he will. Every question we ask him, it sounds like he will say something for 10 minutes. So, I mean, yeah, the Messiah was pretty cool. And I know we're just giving our moments, but Skip, what was your favorite moment?
I'm gonna have to say the one with Adam Cole. Back before he was Ring of Honor champ or PWG champ.
Okay.
Another one, I would have to say Candice LeRae and Peter Avalon one was pretty fun. Both Kyle O'Reilly's ones was cool. Cheerleader Melissa, Matt Taven. Jeez, I mean, we can go on and on. Like, Paul London.
You know what?
Paul London is probably one of my favorites. ACH is another favorite, too. Every time ACH is on, it's definitely fun. Remember when Don was on the show, and Don was watching the Braves? And he was like, stop watching the Braves because the Braves are going to lose?
Yeah, I remember that. And you know what? When I was a listener, I mean, God, the episodes I enjoyed when the interviews you guys did, the one when you did Willie Mack for the first time you had him on, you know, I like that one. Yeah, I like that one. When he talks about his show on YouTube he had and all this other stuff, I enjoyed that one a lot. And I mean, and then the one that amazed me at the time when you guys brought in Joey Ryan when he was in TNA, and I'm all like, how the fuck? I mean, knowing you for 10 years, kid, I was thinking, how the fuck they got a TNA guy on WrestlingHeads Radio? At the time, you didn't even tell me how you did it, but you did it, so that was pretty cool, though.
Yeah, man. A lot of great moments here on WHRADIO, and hope we can make some more moments. Another one, before we move on, JT Dunn. He was one of the recent shows that we had. That was a fun one too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, man. How about we continue the show?
Well,
yeah,
I was going to say we have more breaking news from Pro Wrestling Guerrilla.
Yes.
The first match for Night 1 of Battle Los Angeles 2014 has been announced, and it is going to be Mount Rushmore, the Young Bucks and Adam Cole, taking on best friends of Low Moral Fiber, which is Kenny Omega, Chuck Taylor, and Trent.
And this is a non-tournament match, people.
That's a non-tournament
match because most likely those guys, Adam Cole, Kenny Omega, Chuck Taylor, and Trent, are going to compete in their qualifying matches on night 2.
It's a big deal, ladies and gentlemen. PWG, get into it. It's one of the biggest independent promotions out there. Buy a fucking DVD. Buy an old one. You'll still love it.
Yeah. Check out go to ProWrestlingGuerrilla.com and just order as many DVDs as you can. You know, you can't go wrong with any of those shows. I would say, you know, even go back to some of the older shows. Go back to 2007 and 2008 and 2009 and check out those shows because those were some of the most stacked shows in PWG history. And when you say that, you know, 2011 up until now has had so many stacked shows too. You can't go wrong. ProWrestlingGuerrilla.com, also available at HighSpots.com. Either site, you're going to get your Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. Get it if you want the best wrestling on the planet.
Yeah, man. Definitely. PWG, if we have more news in the middle of the show, we will share it with you guys.
Especially if it relates to PWG.
Fucking crazy. Randy Orton and Ambrose. Another pay-per-view type of match on Raw. Talk to me about that one, Oscar.
It was actually a great match. I think this match was the best match of the night. I like how it ended. It's something that we didn't expect, especially if you follow Dean Ambrose, a.k.a. John Moxley's whole entire career, which, you know, every time he does the thing with the ropes, like Roddy Piper does, and he counters you with a strike. Well, this time he did that again, but Randy Orton comes out of nowhere with the RKO. That was a great way to finish that match. And, it just proves to you again that Dean Ambrose is the guy that can pretty much work with anybody, especially a guy like Randy Orton, which, to be honest, I'm not really a big fan of Randy Orton, but I give props to both of them, and I totally respect what they've done and what they did in this match. So, and not only that, this is going to be, if this match doesn't hurt Dean Ambrose at all, it's going to get him, you know, a point where we're going to think he is, he's going to be a star. And another thing, there's a botch in the match. Well, it was one of those kind of botches that they recovered it really fast, you know. So, and even the announcers recovered it. So yeah, and if you look at the tweet that I botched, people said didn't like give them shit about it. You know, it was just something that they recovered really fast, and they had to think a second. So they did that too. So. Yeah, I give props to both of those guys in this match.
Yeah, man. It's funny because that same move that Ambrose does, Kyle O'Reilly does too.
Yeah, Kyle O'Reilly does that too. But the one who made it famous to me, in my eyesight, or someone could freaking correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Roddy Piper's the one that pretty much started it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, you know, Nigel McGuinness kind of reintroduced it. It wasn't really used in wrestling until Nigel McGuinness started really using it a lot more in Ring of Honor. And that actually was a contributing factor into Nigel retiring early because he would tear his bicep. I don't know how many times he did it just from that rebound lariat. And actually, interesting fact, the first time that Nigel did the rebound lariat, it was on Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
Just a fact of the day.
So also on the Raw tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Dolph Ziggler and Fandango.
Well,
this story.
Well, I thought you screwed up. I was going to help you recover it, but it was actually Dolph Ziggler going against Del Rio, and then pretty much he lost because of Fandango. He kind of distracted him when he was playing his music, and Fandango was dancing on the table, counter tables.
I was actually about to get to saying about their feud is starting to heat up.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Yeah.
And it's all over Summer Rae's fine ass.
What's that again?
It's all over Summer Rae.
Yeah, all because of Summer Rae. Yeah, it's you know what? It's a good thing about this. Like about a year ago, people were all over Ziggler and Fandango. You know about the Fandango wing, and then you have Ziggler won the world title, and everybody was all over the Ziggler bandwagon. I mean, I think it's cool that these guys have some kind of program going on now. So hopefully they can recover from the collapse they had after this feud. So, hey, if the Fandango ain't coming back, oh well. You saw the Canadian guys doing it, but we'll see if they do it again next week.
Just like a friend of ours said before, our boy Chris said, you know, in different cities, you know how you have certain people who do the Adam Rose thing in certain cities.
Yeah.
In like some cities they don't even do the they don't do that in every city. So, but
yeah.
So I fucking doubt we'll hear the little Fandango in next week. It'll just die back down.
Yep.
Also, Cesaro, what the fuck? This shit with Kofi beating him, if it happens one more time, it's gonna make Cesaro look bad, and his chances of being the next Intercontinental Champion is not gonna look so great.
Or maybe this is a good way, then Cesaro will walk Intercontinental Champion. To me, right now he's the favorite. Like, all right, who else could win this Battle Royal?
I don't know. For some reason, if the WWE fucks over all of us fans and makes Sheamus your fucking Intercontinental Champion and U.S. Champion, I will be highly fucking pissed off.
Okay, but let me ask you guys a question with this. Let's just say Cesaro does walk out with the Intercontinental Champion. Will Cesaro be the guy who finally resurrect the Intercontinental title and finally have a feud that we all can remember? I don't know if that. Well, I want to see, of course, that he's the guy, but look at his U.S. title run. What did he did there? No, I mean, the only one we can remember, he had a feud with R-Truth, but
Kingston.
And I don't blame Cesaro from all that.
Don't forget Kofi.
Yeah, cool.
He had a feud with Kofi for the U.S. title too.
Yeah, but
Santino.
But look at this though.
That was a joke.
Okay.
That was a joke.
We can talk about Santino later, but honestly, if he wins the Intercontinental, they better put him in a kind of a feud that we all got to remember, like at least against a Dean Ambrose or a let me see, or fuck.
Sorry to cut you off, but the thing about Dean Ambrose, these guys are like onto bigger and better things. Like these guys are basically almost main eventers. You know what I mean? You might want to have guys like Cody Rhodes go back to being Cody Rhodes, or Damian Sandow go back to being Damian Sandow, so these guys could be relevant again as mid-carders, because all the mid-carders are looking like a bunch of bums right now.
Yeah, I get you at that point, but there's going to be a point where they got to find something for Ambrose to continue on. Like, okay, his feud with Seth Rollins end. What are you going to do with him? Are you going to have him go against Randy Orton? Are you going to have him go against Kane? Or what? So, or do something for
Swagger's a fake,
at his resume's career. Yeah, you can put Swagger to it, and you know what? That's what I said last week. that could be an Intercontinental title feud we can remember because they have history, you know. And now
that's something we talked about a long time ago. Remember?
I don't know about a long time ago, but with the whole face turn that happened.
I'm actually talking about when they first started feuding. You remember when they were the Real Americans and they started feuding?
Yeah.
We were talking about that could have been a feud for the IC title a long time ago when Big E had it. Remember they had the red match, have one of them win, and then have those two to this feud. You forget about that.
Yeah, but we'll see if that will go on. But that's another one. But like going back to Dean Ambrose for a sec, will it be nice to add in his resume he actually won the Intercontinental title? I mean, they just can't put bullshit feuds like, okay, Cesaro against Kofi Kingston for the Intercontinental title, or even though I like Del Rio a lot, but well, let's just say Dean Ambrose win the Intercontinental title. Would you like to see a Dean Ambrose and Del Rio feud for the title? I don't know if that would be a great
Del Rio's not bad of a wrestler to watch.
I know he's not bad.
In my opinion, I think he's one of the best wrestlers on that roster still, even though he doesn't get the love that he deserves. Give him a fucking storyline. Fuck it.
Yeah, give him a storyline, but it's got to be something memorized, like The Rock and Triple H, like the Ultimate Warrior Rick Rude, like Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, you know, something we could remember. And names we just popped out, they should get the job done, but just don't put them no bullshit feud, you know?
Yeah. Well, do you have any thoughts on the whole IC title, Tom?
Basically just what you guys have been saying. They needed to elevate that title to a level where if you win that, you're going to be a legitimate threat, you know, in the company, and it's not just a title. Because, like you said, back in the day, the Intercontinental title used to mean that you were going to be the guy who eventually won the world title. You know, it wasn't always the case, but in people's minds, they were like, he's the Intercontinental champion, you know, he's getting to be a big star. And, you know, in some cases, the Intercontinental title sometimes overshadowed the WWE title. You know, there was a point where those two titles were almost on the same level. So, like I said, they need to go back. I don't know how they're going to do it. It's going to be tough for them because obviously they don't care enough about that title to put in any serious feuds or anything. But you know, we'll see what happens with it. We'll see what they do with the Battle Royal. You know, maybe Cesaro doesn't win it. Maybe somebody like screws him in the match and then he enters a feud with them. Who knows? We'll just, you know, have to wait.
Well, you know, it's a funny point you made about they don't care about that title. Look at their top guy, John Cena. I know he never won the Intercontinental title, and I know he had won the U.S. title. I know the U.S. title was a different title, but he had some memorable U.S. title feuds, like
don't say on Big Show.
I don't want to say. I'm not gonna say Big Show, but come on, Booker T.
So people remember that WrestleMania 20. When he lifted up Big Show for the FU, and he won, that was his first title. People remember that.
Yeah, that. But I'm talking about his rivalries when he was the U.S. champion. Remember, he had it twice. He had a strip, and then he ended up losing to Orlando Jordan because we all know he's going to end up becoming WWE champion in a month or so. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, you know, when Cena lost the belt in Carlito's debut?
Yeah.
You know, that was memorable.
How about this? You got guys like both guys. You got guys like Russo. Like these guys could be in an IC title picture too. Don't forget about those guys. You got guys that come up like Dallas and Russo who can just get in that, you know, mix. You know, you got guys like Ziggler.
They're getting there.
You also got guys. Hold up.
Yeah, I'm talking about.
I mean, I already know we talked about Ziggler and Fandango. If they really want to take the IC title serious, those are some guys that could probably go after the title. Tyson Kidd, there's talks about him getting back on the main roster. I mean, fuck, that's another person. And if Wade Barrett wasn't hurt, we wouldn't have to go through this issue. That's the thing that sucks right now. Because Wade Barrett, I think he was definitely doing great with the IC title, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was good. Okay, you can say. I mean, he went so far. Like, I'm not gonna fucking put him down for this, but when he was Intercontinental Champ, he only feuded with, RVD, and that was it. So. But it's like he had an injury.
Yeah. John Cena and Seth Rollins, main event. I think this match would have went well if it was actually an actual pay-per-view type of match, like on a fucking Survivor Series or something. I'm just naming any fucking pay-per-view. Like, I just know Seth Rollins can go with John Cena and definitely have a good match. But we already know what happened. Kane and Orton got involved. You know, you got Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose get involved too. So it looked like Raw was about to cash in. I almost forgot about Dean Ambrose, you know, saying that he'll be there all the time when he's about to cash in. Before Raw was going off, I was hoping Roman Reigns, instead of putting John Cena's hand up, I was hoping he gave him the spear or some shit, and like Raw would have went off crazy instead of those two guys being buddies at the end. But we'll see. Fatal 4 match, Battleground.
Yeah, and the whole Dean Ambrose and Seth, well, I like to see how long will this plan out. Like, you know, Dean Ambrose, keep mentioning every time you're about to cash it in, he's always going to be right there. How long that's going to last, you know? And we all know they're going to have a match at Battleground and possibly maybe another rematch at SummerSlam, but we'll see. You know,
I'm pretty sure soon they'll like have a certain match where if you get involved, you get suspended or, you know, something like that. Like they'll like have a match. Seth Rollins says, if I win, you can't get involved in nothing, or you get banned or something. Like they'll come up with some shit, but who knows? The WWE, just like you said, they don't know what they're doing with Seth Rollins with the Money in the Bank. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any thoughts on the main event, Tom.
It was an all right main event. You know, I kind of expected the finish where, you know, Kane comes out, beats up Cena, and Randy Orton comes out, beats up Cena. You know, Roman Reigns comes in, you know, takes out Kane, takes out Orton. Seth Rollins attacks Cena. Dean Ambrose attacks Seth Rollins. And then Cena and Roman Reigns win. I kind of expected that coming. But it was, you know, it was a good match. It was a good match. You know, it didn't go very long. But, you know, we've seen in the past that Cena and John Cena and Seth Rollins could have a good match if they're given time. You know, I think within the next couple weeks, we'll see Roman Reigns kind of attack John Cena. You know, maybe next week. Maybe next week he acts all buddy-buddy with him, and then he attacks him. But, you know, we'll have to see.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens with that situation. Just let you guys know, in case you watch the main event, Del Rio is going to go against Sheamus. Main event's on Tuesday, right? Yeah,
yes,
it is.
It's on
main
tomorrow
event's on
night.
Tuesday. Yeah, so tomorrow night you got Del Rio versus Sheamus for the U.S. title, and so look into that, people, if you guys want to watch that. And I think Chris Jericho's had a highlight reel with Bret Hart, so all you wrestling heads, watch that. Also,
yeah, we also
big match on Friday. We got a big match that is booked for Friday on SmackDown. Roman Reigns versus Rusev has been announced. Wow.
Yep. Yeah. And we also mentioned it. Yeah, and we almost forgot to mention Bret Hart did appear tonight on Raw, you know, even though just for a little bit. It was a big thing because that was in the same building where the screw job happened. And it gave him a big, you know, a big reaction because Bret Hart is a legend in Canada. And it sucks. Well, I don't want to say it sucks, but Damian Sandow did came out dressed like Bret Hart while he interrupted him, and Bret Hart just punched him in his head. I was hoping for a sharpshooter.
Sandow's been going through some, you know, some shit in the WWE. You know, I don't know who he pissed off backstage to get to where he's at. But tonight, he was hilarious. Oh my God, he was hilarious. He was like the perfect type heel. He was hilarious. I thought when Bret Hart came out, I thought Sandow was going to come out as HBK. I thought that would have been hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, you know how much heat he will have if he dressed like HBK? Oh my fucking God. And he's in Montreal.
I know Damien's supposed to return as Damien Sandow, himself at Battleground, so we'll see how that works out for him. But we'll definitely see. Battleground. So just again, ladies and gentlemen, main event, you guys got Sheamus versus Del Rio for the US title, and main event, Russo versus Roman Reigns on Friday, SmackDown.
Yeah.
We're right back.
Another thing.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying another thing. The network is free for this week, so you can check it out tomorrow for free.
Yes, check it out and fuck up my fucking network that I'm actually paying for so the shit can go slow. So go ahead and do that, people.
Yeah,
but we'll be right back into these
the network. If you don't have the network, they're giving it away for free. But you don't even have to type in credit card or anything. You just have to give them your email, and you get the network free for a week. So they're trying to push.
Who's coming up with these dumbass ideas? Please tell me. Fucking idiots.
They're trying to push subscriptions, and they're saying, well, because people love free shit. So if people think, all right, it's free, I'll check it out. And then they check it out, and they're like, all right, this is pretty cool. I could see pay-per-views, and, there's a whole bunch of shit. I could watch WCW, ECW, and all this different shit. You know what? Okay, I'll spend $10 a month on it. Yeah,
I know that they put on the Monday Night Wars, which I'm going to watch probably after the show. But and as soon as we take a break and come back, I think you want to talk about the rest of the contestants that got added to Bola, right, Tom?
Yeah, rest of the contestants at Bola. We can also talk about a certain WWE wrestler that announced his retirement over the weekend.
Yeah.
And also a certain Ring of Honor wrestler announcing his last matches in Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
We'll be right back at these messages.
Yo, this is Rocky Romero. Just want to give a shout out to WrestlingHeads Radio, 200th episode. Congratulations, fellas. Oscar, Skits, all the boys up there. And I hope you guys have me on there soon, man. WrestlingHeads Radio!
We're back. But before we go on, we got to add somebody here online with us. He's been holding for at least 3 minutes. Mr. ROH Code himself. Chris, what is going on?
What the hell?
What's going on?
What's going on, man?
What's going on, man?
Just hanging out, man. Been busy. Extremely busy the past 3 weeks. And 200th episode. Keith Davis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's pretty big.
Florida. How are the asses in Florida?
They're round and bouncing. Unfortunately, they're not bouncing on me right now.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah,
before
Chris.
We move on, before we move on, I just want to say shout out to Rocky Romero for doing that. And he sounds like he'll fucking be on the show every fucking week if he wanted to. So, because if you hear what he said, I wish you had got me back on again soon. So, shout out to Rocky Romero.
Yeah, man. Definitely. Yeah, Chris, 200. I was actually talking to the guys earlier about their favorite show that they've been on the show. Would you like to share one of your favorite?
Well, let's see. I started last June. That's what, 13 months ago, a little bit over a year. I mean, I don't have my favorite. I think I have some favorite moments. I probably would be interviewing. My favorite interviews would probably be with Paul London, obviously. He's probably everyone's favorite. Kendrick's another one. just recently, and the Rocky Romero, both interviews were awesome. I think the one what makes great moments on the show is when the wrestlers relax and be themselves and really not even talk about wrestling. They just they just sort of be themselves. That's the best part about interviewing people is deep and dig into the person. I love the fact when wrestlers come on and don't fucking talk about that crazy match they had in 2003 at some fucking random pay-per-view that nobody watched. You know what I mean? I like when they fucking, like when Messiah was on. I think that's one of the best interviews. The dude got personal, and you could hear it in his voice. He didn't even want to get off the show. I think moments like that are my favorite. That's always my favorite when they open up. Like, my goal is to interview a wrestler and not fucking mention the sport. You know what I'm saying? Because, they don't want to talk about wrestling all day. So I love those moments. And I've been privileged to be a part of quite a bit in a year plus. Yeah,
it's been a blast, dude. Definitely been fun doing this. I honestly, me, from being on episode 1 to now, I can't believe this shit is actually still going on. I actually want to thank everybody that's contributed with everything, doing from the radio show to the website, Facebook, all that good shit, to help Wrestling Heads keep going on. So, yeah, I want to thank you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, what's crazy is how quick that 13 months has gone. I mean, I remember fucking going out to PWG for the first time and being in line and not knowing a motherfucking soul but the guys that I was going to go watch wrestle. And within 5 minutes, I'm sitting next to Skits. I mean, how the fuck does that happen? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's how it happened.
Yeah. Funny story. I think I was on Twitter and I think Chris was tweeting saying he was coming to PWG, and I was like, oh, well, we should just meet up, blah, 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 and the rest is history.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
definitely.
So all those people out there who are thinking of going to PWG, especially you females, maybe someday you could sit against the wall in your seat next to Skits.
Yeah. You can come sit next to the Skits. We'll have a good time. We need only the hot chicks. No ugly chicks are not allowed to sit next to Skits. So if you're going to be breaking chairs and shit, don't sit next to me.
Let's bring Skits some hot transsexual women. How about that?
Hey, chill. Because, hey, Oscar, you sit next to me, so unless you want a transsexual near you, hey.
Hey, listen.
Hey, Tom,
everybody knows.
Tom.
Everyone knows that Oscar goes.
Listen.
Everybody knows that Oscar goes to dollswithballs.org.
Hey, Tom, you come to Bola, and you can switch seats so you can sit next to Skits in the the transsexual. So go for it, man.
Nah. If I come to PWG, I'm getting all the bitches, and because I'm from New York, those California bitches know you, so they'll be interested in what I have to say about big old New York City. So anyway, speaking of PWG, the final 8 participants were announced last Thursday, and they are as followed. We got A.R. Fox, Chris Hero, Chucky T, Roderick Strong, Tommaso Ciampa, Adam Cole, Ricochet, and returning to PWG, Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
All I got to say is one word. Wow.
The Golden Lovers.
I don't know who to
Kenny
pick.
Has been, I never knew who he was until PWG. PWG introduced me to him, and he's just something else, because he can do comedy. He can do comedy like nobody else, but when it's time to be serious, he can be as serious as they come, and he can go with the best.
Well, you need to watch some of his stuff that he's doing right now in DDT in Japan. He's tag teaming with Kota Ibushi right now, and it's about as comical and as aggressive as it gets. Probably his best work he's doing right now.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to find on the internet. It's pretty cool shit.
Yeah,
the Golden Lovers.
Yeah, I remember Chris was showing me that. Remember the neck injury thing? Oh God! I mean, not Kenny Omega, how he into that dude's neck.
I don't even know how that dude fucking walked away. I don't know how that dude gotta be broke. He's fucked up.
But it's just incredible. When I heard Kenny Omega was announced, it blew my mind because, Excalibur and Super Dragon have said in the past how difficult it is to book Kenny Omega, how it's, close to impossible to book him because he's always in Japan. So they must have pulled it off somehow, some way. And it's great because, Kenny Omega's had, a ton of great moments in PWG. Him and Chuck Taylor's feud with El Generico. That was a great feud. Lots of good comedy in there, some good wrestling. And Kenny Omega, of course, won the 2009 Battle of Los Angeles, which was a good Battle of Los Angeles, and he won the title in that tournament as well.
Yeah. I have a question for everybody.
I thought he had a chance to do really well on his Super Juniors, too. I thought that he was, he participated in that. I thought he had a shot to go deep in that, which didn't happen, but he put on some fucking excellent matches. He's an entertainer, but there's not many like the guy. He speaks fluent Japanese, and it's fucking so crazy to watch him do that in promos.
Yeah, man. I'm definitely looking forward to Bolo. I know Bolo's going to be a hell of a weekend. Birthday weekend, again. I'm going to mention it again, probably every week on the show. But all those participants in this tournament, I don't know if it's too early to ask. Any favorites?
In what? In Bola?
Bola.
It's tough to tell right now. There's literally 5 or 6 guys that I think could possibly win it. I think maybe Ricochet right now could be the possible favorite because of how on fire he's been everywhere else, in Dragon Gate, everywhere else he's been going. Even in, like I said, he won Best of the Super Juniors, and, it's a huge tournament to win, especially for a guy that's not even signed to New Japan.
For now,
so Ricochet could be a heavy favorite. AJ Styles
will be
a heavy
favorite. Be signed real soon. It seems like every promotion is going out of their way, not just Ricochet doing all this. It seems like all these promotions are going out of their way to help him become Wrestler of the Year as well. I mean, it seems like they're putting him in positions, and I could see PWG at least minimum putting him in the finals, if not winning the whole fucking thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's going to have a good showing.
Yeah, I agree with Chris. He's going to have a good showing. It's funny now, Tom, you mentioned those 2 names are the favorites. I couldn't decide who the hell's going to win, so I try to look at tweets, who do you think will win at Bola? I look around I hashtag PWG, I look in, people's tweets. I mostly see AJ Styles or Ricochet are the favorites to win it all. I saw some Hero there, which I'm shocked, but
I'm sorry, listen, I like Chris Hero, and, I'm a fan of a lot of his work, from his CZW and early Ring of Honor days, up until, WWE.
Now, wait, hold on. Yo. Putting a PWG regular over a Ricochet, putting a PJ regular over an AJ Styles in the finals, that would help the promotion more than just giving it to a guy who's part-time, who's always in fucking Dragon Gate, or he's in fucking Dragon Gate USA, or he's in New Japan. I mean, there's a lot of rumors that he's going to be signing with New Japan. There's a lot of rumors he's failing Dragon Gate.
Ricochet doesn't do anything in New Japan, and he won, one of, obviously the G1 Climax is the biggest tournament of the year.
He's failing.
But everybody pays attention to the Best of the Super Juniors, and they give it to him. So, maybe
he's failing Dragon Gate, right? I mean, you know that, right? He's not going to be with Dragon Gate much longer. He's going to be signing with New Japan, and so they didn't make him win Super Junior just to jerk him off. The thing about New Japan is they need stars like people need hand jobs. They need it real bad, okay? And that's what they did. They fucking made a star of Ricochet within one moment. They're not going to give Super Junior title to a guy who's just a guy off the streets, basically. Not saying he's off the streets. My point is someone who does not have a future. So, and right now, Kota Ibushi's in the doghouse, as you just saw a couple weeks ago, because his fucking allegiance to fucking DDT. So they need another Junior. But the point is, you put a PWG regular over.
Chris, I kind of wanted to just kind of go off on a second. Chris Hero, I was surprised that he was brought into this tournament for the simple fact that Chris Hero hasn't been the same ever since he got released from the WWE. He has not been the Chris Hero that we saw before, and I don't expect him to be the same, but it looks like he's trying less and less each time he goes out. If you look at recent pictures of him, he's not looking good, physically. He's starting to develop a pretty good gut, and, he's not that defined, on his arms or anywhere else. So it looks even worse. When's he ever to a guy like Kevin Steen, who's already naturally a bigger guy.
Well, first of all, I have no part of saying that Chris Hero is horrible, so that's all you. You could say that. When is he ever fucking work?
The thing, I don't, it's not like I dislike Chris Hero, it's just, I think he's just trying less.
What matches are you watching? What matches are you watching? I have to challenge you because when the fuck have you ever seen Chris Hero lift a weight?
Since he came back. I've watched several independent matches since he came back, Beyond Wrestling, and he just hasn't, his PW. You look at his PWG matches, and they're okay.
I think the fucking PWG matches he put on are awesome. I think the matches he had in the Evolve was fucking awesome. I think the tournaments that he was in Noah was awesome with Cole Cabana. But the thing is, you're putting emphasis on weightlifting. That motherfucker don't lift weights ever in his life, even though he's bizarre things are wrestling. I'm just saying.
There's a certain thing. Look at Kevin Steen. It's comparing apples to oranges. Kevin Steen most likely is going to the WWE. When he realized he had a chance, he put his mind to it and said, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to try and get in the best shape of my life to impress these people and show these people that I can be a big guy, but I'm going to be in the best shape that I've ever been.
Two different people.
And then you look at Chris Hero, and, Chris Hero doesn't have to be, John Cena. He doesn't have to be ripped. He doesn't have to, even look like Ricochet where he's got an 8-pack, but he's got to look somewhat presentable. Two
different people, and I'll play it right now. Two different fucking people, 1,000,000% different. Kevin Steen's whole life, he came into fucking wrestling late in his fucking life, and his whole entire goal in his whole life that he only watched in his life was WWE. And he's got 2 fucking children. I guess one on the way, or just fucking have them, whatever the fuck. Okay? His whole life was getting to the WWE, and he's been saying that since day one. Chris Hero is a fucking, and also he's not real knowledgeable about the past. Chris Hero is as knowledgeable as they get that's out there. He watches every wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
His dream doesn't end when WWE dream ends. He continues because he's got interest elsewhere. Steen's Steen's whole life, first of all, he's a family man, is making money and going to WWE.
It doesn't look like he's caring anymore. That's just, it's my perspective. It just doesn't look like he's not, he's not putting on bad matches. It's not like I'm shitting on his matches. It's just that he doesn't look like he has the same drive that he once had. It kind of looks like he's just kind of going with the flow now. And, he doesn't need to work out, and he doesn't need to, be buff or whatever. But, he could look like the old Chris Hero. The old Chris
Hero.
Wait a
minute, dude. Wait a minute. You're trying to tell me that, wait, hold on. We're going to fucking, you're talking about someone who's, no offense, listen. Kevin Steen, the past 2 years before he got this little, now he's fucking getting it together because his Ring of Honor contract is up. Dude, Steen for 2 fucking years got fatter than fuck, okay?
Yeah, he did.
When you met him, and he's a miserable piece of fucking shit because he didn't like the fact what Ring of Honor was doing to him. Like putting a title on him. Hold up. I'll let you talk. He didn't like what Ring of Honor was doing, but putting the fucking title on him for a year. Oh, he was so fucking depressed. He is a fucking. you're comparing to a fat Steen to fucking what Chris Hero looks like today? Come on, dude.
I'm not comparing their weight. I'm not comparing their appearances together. I'm comparing their drives. Yes, Steen, that was one of the major criticisms of Steen, is that he didn't look like a wrestler. You know, Davey Richards said it. Jim Cornette said it. He didn't look like a wrestler. He looked like a fat guy that just got in the ring and did whatever. Steen did let himself go. You know, he lost weight at first, and then he gained it all back. And that's been a major criticism of Steen.
When did he lose weight before right now? Because I saw a fat fucking pregnant guy.
Wow.
Well, here's the difference that you don't understand. Chris Hero just lost a lot of money in his bank account since getting fired from WWE or asking for his release, whatever you want to call it. And Steen is about to sign. It's a humongous different motivation in life. When you're let go from something that you thought you were going to get and being told bullshit, of course you're going to let your fucking foot off the pedal a little bit.
Yeah, but
the fact of the matter is, Steen was being
worked out, and you know he doesn't have to. But when he was in WWE, they wanted him to just kind of work on his physique just a little bit. They didn't ask him to go hit the gym 5 days a week and look like John Cena. You know, they just said, lose a little bit of weight, and you'll be fine. But it was his attitude. It was Chris Hero's attitude that he didn't need to do.
Here's what they asked Steen to do. You're a Steen lover. They asked him to take his fucking shirt off because he's a fat bastard, and he couldn't get his belt on anymore. I'm sorry, I'm not sticking for that fucking guy compared to Chris Hero.
I love Steen as much as
anybody, a better worker than Steen.
But you're right about that. You know, that was one of my major gripes with, you know, when I was watching him in PWG and he was bloated as ever. I hated that. I hated seeing Steen like that, you know, compared to, you know, his old PWG days when, you know, he was wrestling in the singles and was doing moonsaults. So, you know, I was upset about that. It's just...
Now, there's two other people on the show. And I'm going to ask you guys straight the fuck up, and don't be fucking gay about it, and don't be fucking biased. Who's fucking better? As a fucking wrestler, Chris Hero, and I'm talking in wrestling, Chris Hero, Kevin Steen.
Okay, before I answer that question, you mean their whole entire career, or who's doing shit recently?
Career. I'm talking about a fucking technique. I'm talking wrestling. I'm talking fucking whatever. And if you're going to base it on promos, then go ahead.
I'm going to go with Hero.
Yeah, I say Hero as well. It's because, you know, Kevin Steen, to me, when he was on the top rope, when he's like jumping off outside the ring, it just seems like to me he's scared to do it. When Chris Hero did it when he was younger, all the time, he did it perfectly. I haven't seen him done that in a while, but
Steen did that too. Steen was doing moonsaults in 450.
It seems like Kevin Steen does the same exact moves every match he has. He does that power bomb on the he does the power bombs in the air. He does the cannonball. He does
the mid swanton.
And gets that power bomb. And of course his package power driver.
You can't say that Hero doesn't do the same moves in his matches. He does. He does more moves. I will say he does more moves than Kevin Steen. You know, I'm not knocking Hero. I'm not saying that Chris Hero, I'm not saying that he's, you know, his performance isn't, you know, great. You know, Chris Hero knows wrestling unlike any other. You know, he's been all over the world. He's done, you know, some memorable storylines.
If Generica wasn't born, where would Steen be right now? If Generica was never on this fucking planet, where would Steen be right now? Where would he be?
I don't know. But
not
you know,
Steen, I think
some other memorable feuds. You don't know what's happening.
Let him on.
I'm not knocking Hero. I was just saying that, you know, it just didn't seem like he was putting in the same effort that he once did. I'm not saying that his performance dropped, or that, you know, he's shit, or that he's worse than Kevin Steen, or anything like that. I was just saying that he's just...
To be honest with you guys, I'm kind of over this whole Chris Hero, Kevin Steen debate.
Well, fuck you too.
Let's move on. I think we got our boy Bruce joining us. I think this is Bruce, 909. Bruce, is that you?
Yeah, it's me. I might as well put in my 2 cents and jump in. Since he's been back, you could tell that Hero I don't think he's put in as much care as to his appearance at what he once did. And everyone knows he was a huge basketball freak. He was into cardio, wasn't much into lifting weights. It doesn't look like he was into the cardio as much after being let go, and I guess that could be just a reflection of maybe being, mentally and emotionally hurt for how things went down with WWE, which would make perfect sense. But I could understand, all right, there's a little bit of a gut coming on, but he could just fix that with dieting, eating properly, never lifting a weight, and just doing some cardio. You would imagine the cardio that he does in the ring would be enough, but I think he was just maybe eating poorly. But there is some standard in keeping up with your appearance, especially if you're going to go out there in nothing but a Speedo. Whereas if you're Kevin Steen, who cares how much weight you put on because you're wearing a singlet underneath and then a T-shirt over it? You could hide it somewhat. And in his case, he was hiding a baby underneath there. He looked like he was freaking pregnant. But in the case of Hero, he's not fighting with a shirt off. So he does have to, work a little bit more than, say, Kevin Steen would, unless he wants to just give it up and say, hey, you know what, I don't care how I look like. If I'm just going to go out there in trunks and get a gut, all right, well, then he might as well start wearing a T-shirt because it might turn some of his fans off him and might cause them to talk just like we are talking tonight. If he had kept his appearance up, and I'm not saying lifting any weights, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. But who knows what he's going through. So there you go.
Well, Kevin Steen, he's got 3 more matches left in Ring of Honor. And, the word is in the streets, he's going to WWE, which it looks like is going to happen. So he's got Tommaso Ciampa, he's got Steve Corino, and Silas Young. So those are the 3 guys that he's going to be going against for last 3, but not in order. Steve Corino's the last one, just letting everybody know. So be on the lookout for those. I do have the dates here.
Do you think Steen had input on having Corino be his last match?
He had all the choices according to Kevin Steen.
Okay, so now I'll ask Chris or Tom, why do you guys think that Steen would choose Corino,
his mentor,
specifically Corino, for his last match?
Because he loves him and he helps him. He's helped him.
All right, I can't hear it.
I'm trying to tell you. Ask Chris first. Chris was first, so I'm just answering first. I'm going in line. If you said Tom first, I'll let him go. I'm just answering. He helped Corino. Corino helped him and has been on his side his whole career. That simple. As he said himself, mentor.
Now you can
same reason here. I can't think of really anybody else he would want as his farewell match. He's had memorable alliances with Corino, memorable matches with Corino, and I'm going to be surprised to see what they do. As far as his last match, are they going to go far like they did at Final Battle 2011, or are they just kind of keep it simple?
Yep. And the one with Silas Young, he's basically going to help get Silas over. I could definitely see that. That's going July 18th in Cincinnati, Ohio. The 12th, him and Tommaso Ciampa, good friends, never worked in a one-on-one match, so that's going to happen. So, 12th through the 19th, Ring of Honor is actually going on a little tour right now. Well, not exactly right now, in a couple of weeks, so. But a couple of days, actually. But it's actually going down for Kevin Steen's farewell, 3 matches. And then maybe we'll see him in NXT, and a lot of people are still having wet dreams of Kevin Steen versus Sami Zayn. I don't know if it's going to happen, but...
You know what's funny? I don't know if it was Chris or Tom mentioned about he does the same moves. Well, this is very interesting to see what he's going to do in WWE because we know he's not going to do the package collar driver. I know Tom thinks it's going to happen, but I don't think that's not going to happen. The power bomb on the apron ain't going to happen in the WWE, so I'm interested in what he's going to do there when it comes to moves-wise.
And are they going to let him keep his name, or are they going to repackage him?
No, I doubt it. I doubt they're going to keep his name. His name could be, I don't know, Steen Wolf. Who knows?
Kevin Dunn.
Oh, what a slap in the face.
Who knows? We'll see.
Fuck Kevin Dunn. Kevin Dunn's a piece of shit, and I can't wait for the day that he's fired from WWE. Can't come soon enough.
Good luck on that.
Yep, that's unfortunately true also. His dad locked him in with a job, so he's set for life.
I know. God damn.
Hey, you know what? I'm pretty sure Triple H feels exactly the same way. God damn it.
Real quick, though.
He hates it too. Like, Triple H is just waiting for the day that Vince steps down. As soon as Vince steps down, he's going to go up to Kevin Dunn and just be like, you're fired. You're out of here because you don't work for my dad anymore.
Yep.
I got a question real quick, Bruce. I don't know. Are you aware this is the 200 episodes?
Yes, I am. That's why I had to call in and participate, because I knew we were going to have a full lineup of commentary tonight.
I definitely got to ask you, your favorite episode that you've been a part of, favorite guest you got a chance to interview. You want to share that with us?
Okay, let's see. Just for shits and giggles, I think the funnest one was Candice LeRae. I don't know why. I just came off as a fun interview, and who else? T.J. Perkins came off as a good one. I thought, and then back when he was champ with TNA as Manic, and then the funniest conversation I had, or the one that we had here, I think was when we were talking about Donald Sterling and monkeys and Ricochet and Prince Devitt. I think that was the most hilarious episode I remember having.
Yeah, man. It's definitely been a good shows with you. But real quick, let's take one more break, and we'll get back to talking about some wrestling. I don't know what's gonna come up, but it's gonna do with some fucking some wrestling. We'll be right back.
Hey, what's up? It's Angelo Trinidad from Championship Wrestling from Hollywood and PWG. Shout out to my boys Skits and Oscar and the rest of the Wrestling Heads team on episode 200, man. Congratulations. Keep knocking them out, and I hope to be back on soon. You bet, man.
Since January of 2013, the Indie Power Rankings have been ranking the very best independent wrestlers on a weekly basis with voters all across the U.S. and Canada. They do the part to support indie wrestling. Give them a follow at Indie Ranking as they release the new Indie Power Rankings every Tuesday.
And we're back. Real quick.
Yeah, shout out to Angelo.
Real quick, I have to do this for, you know what? I don't think I did it, Oscar. I think I forgot to put that one up, but it's all good to hit.
Bob Osall. And
I had another sound
I
bite
think
that
you're
I
a
forgot to put up.
dumbass. But yeah, go for it.
But yeah, we're back. I'm gonna ask each guy here that's on right now, what matches have they been watching, and what promotion, what's been catching their eye. I'm gonna go and shoot with Mr. Tom first.
I don't know, I've been watching a lot more New Japan more. Of course, that's the Super Juniors, and then you have the G1 Climax coming up. I've been catching up as much as I can, and they've been doing, great in 2014. They've been doing great stuff. Of course, been watching PWG, catching up on 2014 because, unlike you Californians, I have to wait for the DVDs to ship all the way to New York. So still waiting on Soldier Soul for Rock and Roll. I can't wait to see that. That should be a good one. Seeing O'Reilly is definitely going to be a cool moment to see, on tape. And I've been actually watching a lot more older shows. I just watched the 2007 Battle of Los Angeles, which was the last time that they did 3 nights. and that was a stacked COLA. You know, it's very comparable to like this year. Maybe this year it's even more stacked, but 2007 was great. And other than that, you know, just WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor. I'm trying to keep up with, you know, as much as the smaller independents as much as I can. And that's basically it.
Yeah, man. Definitely some good shit you're watching there. What about you, Oscar?
You know what? I've been watching a lot of old stuff as of late. Like, I remember I was boxing Chris about AWA. I want to look up more into it from back in the day. I know, Chris, you went to some of their shows in Vegas back in the 80s, right?
From the Riviera and not the Riviera, the show from 85, 86.
Yeah,
I mean, real young.
And it seems like the early 80s there were pretty good shows back then until when it went down in the late 80s. So I've been watching a lot of old school stuff, and I'm also want to catch up to World Class Championship Wrestling as well. And you say that the ones that the WWE Network doesn't have right now were the best shows.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd say 85, 86 is the fucking hype. Is the main hardcore that you need to watch. That's when the roster was at its peak.
Yeah.
And that's right before everyone started dying. You know what I'm saying? You know, the entire roster. That's the one. But AWA, I mean, just look, you could name Kurt Hennig, Midnight Rockers, you know, HBK and Marty Jannetty, and the list goes on and on. I mean, that was Scott Hall, Nick Bockwinkel.
Scott Hall, yeah.
I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. It's a must-see, man. Thing to see.
Yeah. You know what's funny? While I was watching that documentary of the AWA, I'm all like, fuck, man, how do you lose all these stars? I mean, I know the money is there in WWE, but fuck, you had Kurt Hennig as your champion, and then he was going to go to WWE anyway, so why would you keep him as your champion? That's something I didn't really get.
Burn, you know.
Yeah, and then the whole Hulk Hogan thing, like, basically Hulkamania basically started in the AWA, and he had Hulk Hogan, but, you know, he just a little greedy. He wanted some of Hogan's share from Japan because he makes some money in Japan, but he wanted some of his share, which I think that's probably the biggest mistake he did, because if he still kept Hulk Hogan and WWE never had Hulk Hogan, who knows what the WWE would be in today, you know? Maybe we'd be talking about more about AWA instead of WWE today, you know?
Well, Vern couldn't evolve. Vern couldn't, you know. Vern, you got to understand, Vern was Hulk Hogan back in the 50s, and you know he was the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, and on top of it, his ego was outlandish. He made himself a fucking 12-time champion because that's what owners did back then. But he could never. He wrestled until what, 84? I mean, Jesus Christ. He just couldn't evolve. I think he was senile in the 80s as well. I mean, we all know what he ended up now, but.
Yeah. Yep. And his guy has always been Nick Barkley, so that was the guy. Like
Nick was the man, though. Nick was class. I met that dude. He was in class. I love that dude.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So that's basically I've been watching some basically old school stuff. So that's basically I've been watching skits.
Yeah, man. It's just I think I'm about to go watch the network because I haven't been on the network lately. Ever since some of the stuff they've took off, I just haven't really been.
Well, today you just added Saturday Night Main Event, which I know as a
I might want to get into.
Yeah, but when I was little, it was tough for me to watch Saturday Night Main Event back in those days because I was really young. I had a curfew, so I doubt my mom will let a 5-year-old me stay up at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock to watch Saturday Night Main Event. So those days were tough to me to watch. I really don't know when it comes on, to be honest with you. And Mysterious was telling me I don't know if you agree with him, Chris, but he told me that back in those days they hardly promote Saturday Night Main Event, and he barely watched some episodes himself, and he was a little bit older. He was probably in his teenage years at those times. So, I mean,
if they promoted it, it just was harder to find because they were really in syndication. It depends on what show you're watching. They had like 6 shows. You know what I'm saying? They had like 3 shows on USA Network, 2 syndication shows, and it depended on what you watched. I mean, NBC promoted it because, I always see the commercials. Watch anything with Piper, dude. I mean, the Uncle Elmer wedding when Piper interrupts it. Anything with Ventura's announcer with Gorilla. I mean, it was just fucking magic, man. I mean, people don't realize how great Gorilla and Jesse were.
Yeah,
fucking awesome, man. They're tight, man. They're fucking awesome. Anything,
the best commentating team of all time.
I got a question. What combination did you like better, Gorilla and Jesse or Gorilla and Heenan?
Well, the thing is, I love Gorilla and Jesse, but Gorilla and Heenan were so fucking. You could tell they're having fun.
Hilarious.
And they both loved each other. There's no one more wittier than Heenan. But from wrestling announcing, actually the action going on in the ring, Gorilla and Jesse. But for entertainment, fucking period, it's Gorilla and Heenan. No doubt. Yeah, can't pick just one. They're both awesome.
It's really a shame when you look at commentary nowadays. I can't blame Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler and JBL because, they have Vince McMahon just yelling in their ear. But it's just a shame how far commentary, has just gone down. I know it was a different time, but still, commentary was becoming a main focal point, and then you have guys, like Gorilla and Heenan and Gorilla and Jesse, who, call the action. But, they have their funny moments, when, HBK threw Marty Jannetty through the barbershop window, and Heenan, with that classic line that Jannetty tried to escape. It was classic stuff, and it's a shame how far commentary's fallen.
Yeah. So what about you, Chris?
Well, I try to watch everything, and I know that's cliche, but it's the truth, and you know that. I watch try to watch every Japanese promotion I possibly can. I watch Dragon Gate out of Japan, DDT, Big Japan. Obviously, I've been watching New Japan. I'm not even going to mention them. But I've been really hard on Noah lately because for the past, I'd say, 6 months, they've fucking stepped it up, even though after losing a lot of talent due to injury and also losing Kenta, and I think they're fucking awesome. And but in America, I've been trying to, make it small. I've been trying to watch indies, but not just on television, live. I'm trying to go across country and see promotions. Like on the 11th, I'm going to see FIP in Tampa, and I'm going to try to go to ECWA show in Delaware, and then I'm going to see AIW 3 times in 2 weeks. So I honestly believe, and I know I've said it 1,000 times, I think AIW is one of the most original promotions out right now, and they fucking are hard fucking workers, man, because they're promoting shows like crazy, and I highly suggest people fucking sit back and stop being gay and watch it. It's pretty cool, man. And
I think I'm one of those people.
And the crowd, I think the crowd helps a lot. They're into it. I think, like I said, I've been fortunate to see some scenes. Not comparing AIW to any of those scenes but you could sense that there's something. You know what I mean? You could smell it. You guys smell it every 6 weeks in PWG. You smell it. You really smell it there. But I think AIW is doing some good things.
You know what I like about AIW, Chris? They got this Battle of the Sexes show coming up, which all guys versus females.
Yeah, that's a double-header show on 26th July. I just got tickets. They're having a show at 4:00 called All In, and then right after that show, they're doing Battle of the Sexes same night. So they're gonna have 2 shows in one day, and then on August 8th, Failure by Design and they're starting to fucking sign humongous stars for that show.
Yeah. Candice LeRae.
Curtis is just signed for Belly Rosine. Chris Daniels, they're like bringing it out. But you know what to do, guys? I think what you should do is and this is to tell them, and whoever the fuck's listening, is support your local fucking indie shows.
You know what? I was going to get to there.
You got to, man, because it's awesome.
You know what? I was going to get into there because there's this promotion. I want to see just started. It's like a sort of another hardcore promotion like XPW. They're having a show on Saturday. I'm planning on going. It's like maybe like an hour away where I live. So I know Supreme. If you remember XPW Supreme, he's going to go against. He's going to go against Beasta 666, which is the son of Damien 666.
Damien 666.
Yeah. His son. He's going to go against him. So I'm thinking about checking that show out. Yeah. So it's basically a hardcore promotion. What's that again?
But it's support them, you know what I mean? It helps the boys. It helps you. It helps the business. I mean, like I said 1,000 times, everyone's looking for the next boom. The boom's already happened, but it's on the indie scene, you know? We finally have had it with the fucking cartoon manic bullshit, and we're fucking watching wrestling with 100 guys in the fucking crowd. I mean, that's what's happening.
Yeah. You know, Friday night.
It's working.
Friday night, you know, over here in California, Santino's is having a fan appreciation night. So it's like you buy an admission, the show they'll get you free food or drinks for free, pretty much. So that's a fan appreciation night.
Hit it. And, just open. Look, all you gotta do is Google. All you gotta do is Google your city and type wrestling, and you'll find wrestling everywhere.
Yeah, and guys, I hate when people say, the Indies is the they can't even have a wrestle in a arena. So shut the fuck up and go watch some wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Another thing on Sunday, there's like thing called SoCal Fest. What's that shit called? You know what I'm talking about? That
SoCal Uncensored.
I don't know if it's called Uncensored, but it's something SoCal Fest. I know Skips know more about it.
I know what you're talking about. It's like a festival.
Yeah, that's on Sunday. So.
And that was the day when Yuma Tornado called in. He's actually it's called Wrestle. I don't know on top of my head right now, but I know it's out here in Southern California, and it's gonna be. Oh, here it is. It's SoCal Wrestle Fest 2014.
Yeah.
So
that's Sunday.
Yeah, and it's gonna basically, if you buy like food and stuff, that money's gonna go back to like the Boys and Girls Club. So it's still
look, there's a good cause. Yeah, and listen, and there's nothing better. And believe me, guys, I've been watching this fucking shit all the time. I'm not fucking pumping myself up. I've been fucking used to driving 6 hours, 12 hours of fucking see shows for over 20 years. And the fact that I have a fucking promotion that's an hour from my house like AIW is fucking so beneficial. So you guys got these promotions value. Take advantage of it, man. Just do it. Okay, you know what I mean? Because they're all not going to be there. You know what I mean? They're all going to be there.
Yeah,
scenes die. You know,
$10 for tickets too.
Yeah. You see what Chris just said. Look at Coincidental. They announced they're going to have a show in Vegas. They're not having a show over here, so yeah.
You know why? There's so much competition, and they're smart. I think Vegas is a hotbed right now. You know, they have a few promotions there. They're doing well, and listen, the thing in Vegas, motherfuckers relax. You know what I'm saying? And they love, and they're sports fans, and they love it. You know, I lived there for a long time, and I'm telling you, I think Vegas is an unused fucking palette that could be, all it needs is something hot. And Coincidental is doing a good thing if that's where they're going to lay their head, you know.
We might as well announce their first match. They're going to have their chat, Adam Thurston. He's going to be going against Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly is being booked on their main event for their title, so that's a big deal.
Vegas.
For
You guys could drive to Vegas, go to the show, and drive back. You know what I'm saying? How far is Vegas?
Yeah.
Can't far. I mean,
4 hours, pretty much 4 hours.
Yeah, that's shit. You know, go get some fucking Starbucks and drive home.
We can take the bus.
It ain't hard. I do it all the time. I do it all the
Take
time.
the bus.
You can do it. I drive from Pittsburgh to Philly and back. You can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and plus, that's my birthday weekend, too, on that show.
You never know. We might be having a WH trip going on. Hey.
Maybe.
But, Bruce. Can't forget about the man Bruce. Since we got 4 minutes left, I got to get Bruce. Bruce, what are you watching these days, man?
Honestly, I'm falling back in love with old WCW pay-per-views from back in the day. Like the older, what Vince always says, like the bigger-than-life stars that he had. Well, eventually a lot of them came from or went to WCW, and it just seems like I'm getting like new life renewed back into like the old guys that I remember watching that I loved during the Monday Night Wars. And that was always a good hotbed for me, like a good passionate time. And probably the funnest time that I had with friends was during the Monday Night War, flipping back and forth, and then having ECW like occasionally show up, or having some of their guys go between WWF at the time and WCW. So, yeah, just going back through old WCW pay-per-views, that was kind of like a little nostalgia trip that I still can't get over, and I still watch those old pay-per-views.
It's funny you mentioned WCW. I really recommend you to watch Monday Night Wars preview as soon as we're done with the show, because I think they're showing that on the network. So I think you should go watch that after the show. It's probably going to be fun to watch for everybody.
There's going to be 20 episodes. There's going to be 20 total episodes. It's a series. I think the second episode will be in August. But the first episode, I think is already airing. I think.
Yeah, it's airing right now.
Is it a preview, or is it like the full episode?
It's just sneak peek. I'm assuming it's the first episode.
Yeah. Finally. You know how long I've been waiting for this shit? But thank you, WG. But we're 2 minutes here on the show left. WH200. I want to thank everybody for listening in. But before we leave, we're going to give out all of our contacts and whatnot. Want to thank everybody. Everybody's helping out on the website. Shout out to you guys. But follow us on Twitter at WrestlingHeads. Facebook.com/WrestlingHeads. YouTube.com/WrestlingHeads. Everything's about WrestlingHeads. You can actually Google it, and you can just find WrestlingHeads nowadays. So follow me at WH Skits, and I'm going to go down the line with Tom first. Where's Tom?
All you got to do is follow me on Twitter @2tweetme. That is my Twitter handle, and that's all you can find me. Find me on there. Follow me. I'll follow you back, and follow the rest of the Wrestling Heads crew. That's all I got to say.
Go ahead, Os.
Yeah, you can follow me at Sinister632, okay, and Instagram, and WrestlingHeads.com.
Yeah, Chris. ROH Code, Facebook, Twitter. Follow these guys. 200 episodes. Jesus Christ. And I know I'm not on anymore, but I privileged to be on this show, and it's a very good show, and these guys are holding it down, all of them. So follow all these guys.
Yes.
And Bruce.
Chris, you should come back more often. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, YouTube at Bruce Kraft Jr. Kraft spelled with a K, Junior, Jr. Bruce Kraft Jr.
Maybe if you suck his dick, he'll come back for sure. So.
That's what he's waiting for. That's what he's waiting for. I know.
Hey, Oscar, you want to be my...
What was that again?
You want to be my agent? I like that.
You want to be his agent?
Before we go up air, to our boy Toby. I actually talked to him the other day. Shout out to Toby. Shout out to Hypergirl. And, WH Radio.
Where you got back?
Yep.
We're actually on OT right about now. But
they should come back too on the show.
I actually talked to Toby the other day.
What did he say?
He said he was gonna call in. He's gonna try. He's actually off today. Because he's celebrating his birthday weekend, and they're at Palm Springs, him and Hypergirl.
Can we call him up right now?
Can't. We're off air.
Ah, damn.
But he definitely wants to come back when he gets free time. But
where's Tom at?
Tom's still there.
I'm sorry. I'm just listening in.
Hey,
Chris,
like
you need to
I
come
just
back.
texted you. Like I texted you, Tom. See? Disagreements, man, they're good.
Yes, always.
Yeah. If we all agreed with each other, we'd sound like fucking idiots.
That's it. If someone says something, disagree.
On purpose, even if you don't.
That's
Yeah.
Except for Bo Dallas, because everybody loves Bo.
Bo
Team
Dallas.
Russo.
I love Bo Dallas.
I'm Team Russo on the show.
I love Lana. Hey, guess what? Lana backwards. That's what I want to do to her.
Lana's fucking
For the
weird.
dummy. For the dummy that's anal. Okay? How many people got that on the show?
I didn't even hear you.
It might be on
I
YouTube
said
tomorrow.
I want to do Lana backwards, and that's anal. Her name backwards. Get it?
Damn.
Fucking Lana. But yeah, guys, it's been a good show, guys. Appreciate everything.
Yep.
Once again.
Yep.
Pretty sure we'll be fucking talking on Vox
What about
in like 5 minutes.
What about 300?
Let's do it. I know. I'm here for the long run.
I know at 300 we gotta change the logo somehow. Just give that a heads up. We gotta change the logo.
Of course. Shout out to if everybody's still listening. Shout out to Matt from the Weekly Wrestling Podcast who actually added this.
Hey, you know I noticed something. I don't think you gave a. Remember we shout out to Don and those guys, Shoe Guy. I don't think you said nothing but Matt. You left Matt hanging.
Shout out to Matt too.
I know it's overtime.
You know, what about shout out to all of the people who are putting up editorials and what is it, stories and articles and stuff like that.
I did. I actually put a tweet out.
Yeah, but not on the show.
I actually said that when we were ending the show. Shout out to everybody that's helping out on the website. I didn't give out everybody's names though.
Shout out to.
Well, fuck it. Shout out to Kiana. Shout out to Styles Clash. Shout out to PW Smart.
Clash.
Shit.
Shout out to Young RBLX. That's his Twitter. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to fucking Sinister. Shout out to Orange Code. Shout out to the fucking Bruce Jr. Tom.
And shout out to Tweet Me, whatever.
I didn't want my Twitter handle to be Tommy Not Dreamer, so I'm just thinking of something. And I was watching the Young Bucks, and I was watching New Japan, and to Sweet Me, and I was like, to Tweet Me. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I thought I'm clever enough to come up with something else. It's gonna.
You know what we didn't mention on the show today? You know what we didn't mention? Today was the anniversary of the birth of the NWO.
We didn't even talk about Santino retiring. Maybe we'll talk about that on Wednesday.
Fuck Santino, sorry. Somebody actually tweeted, why didn't they why didn't Santino come out and retire on Raw? Nobody would care, to be honest with you. I wouldn't.
Well, I mean,
That's what I did in the house show. Hey, fuck him.
Hey, Santino, I got one word to say to you. Oh, no, I got a couple words to say to you.
You're a bum.
Fuck you, suck a dick.
I remember we did that.
I mean, I've heard a lot of people say the best. heard from a lot of people he's a very funny guy in real life, and he's really liked, by the boys. But, hey, 40 years old, I mean, how many times are you going to pull a sock out your fucking pants, I think he's better suited in the back,
You can't be Mankind.
Yeah. He's the next big Dick Johnson.
I mean, yeah, he could play hiccups, honestly.
I mean, for what Santino was given, I mean, he ran with it. Looked like he was having fun. Got paid for it. He's not the guy.
Oh, wow. I'm just seeing some matches that have been booked for NXT. Tyson Kidd and Justin Gabriel against Zayn and Neville.
Neville. Yeah, that was already.
I love that.
So fucking Gabriel's a fucking heel now?
No, dude, that was taped the Wild. They're both heels. They're heel tag team.
Bring him on the fucking roster.
All these shows in July were taped in one night.
Yeah, remember when Chris was a boxer? He read all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is cool.
Question. I have a question.
Well,
you guys
maybe that's your tag champs. Maybe that's your tag champs. Fucking.
I have another question about tag teams. Do you guys think the Juicy product is kind of copying the Bucks?
I don't think they can. I don't think they have the ability to copy them.
I mean, they have a new shirt. It says "over as fuck," and you know how the Bucks have "over" on the back of their gear too.
It is trendy shit. You know what I mean? It's just I think in the ring. I mean, obviously everyone's gonna copy everyone's fucking. I mean, Bullet Club are ripping off fucking NWO. I mean, let's go there. We want to go anywhere. I mean, the Bullet Club back in the day with the Bullet Club back in the day with Devin.
You look at the Indies, and half of their shirts are ripped off from WWE.
Yeah, I mean, the Bullet Club with Devin was nowhere compared to what ripping off NWO as much as they're doing now.
I love the Juicy product too.
And everyone. It's the biggest flattery. When someone copies, it's people are flattered by it.
Oh, by the way, the Bucks are actually coming to AWS.
It was actually a joint promotion from that Lucha Libre company, UIPW and AWS. That's what it is. They're gonna go against those Bandinos.
That's Tito's. That's our tag team.
Yeah, that's an hour drive from here where it's taking place. So.
No.
Yeah. See if Skits could go because his Dodgers schedule.
No, I'm gonna request the shit off. If the Bucks are in town, you gotta go watch the Bucks.
Hopefully they kick me in the face this time.
Hey, Bruce, you're my boy, but keep dreaming. The Bucks will never super kick you, bro.
Yeah. Did you know? I totally forgot. There's a wrestling promotion near me. Kind of a little bit close. It's called Northeast Wrestling, and they have a show coming up in August, which I might be going to. Not sure. It all depends on work. And one of the matches is Young Bucks versus the Hardy Boys.
Let me tell you something though. And even without that match being booked, NEC fucking attendance is always fucking high. They fucking do well. They really do well crowd-wise. Their houses are always...
Yeah, and on that card, Matt Vidal is going to be there. Scheduled for the card is Kevin Steen versus Jerry Lawler. Pile driver versus pile driver.
What's that date?
What?
What's the date?
August 2nd.
I think in a triple threat, AR Fox versus Matt Sydal versus Strickland. Yeah.
What city is that?